Occasionally, the quietness you feel isn't about distance. It is someone struggling with their own choices. You can feel it, can't you? Something feels unfinished, heavy, and not yet fixed. This bond didn't just fade away, it broke. And the strange part is that they know it too. Right now, the person on your mind is fighting a private war inside themselves. It is a battle between what they picked and what they truly wanted. They smile when others are watching and act like they have moved on, but deep inside, regret keeps showing up. It isn't loud, it is soft, happening in moments when they are alone, late at night, or in the pauses between their thoughts. This message isn't about chasing them, it is about understanding the emotional weight they are carrying because of their own actions. If your gut feeling has been restless, this is the reason. Listen closely, because what they are feeling right now explains everything. The first part is about the decision that looked right but felt wrong. At the moment they made their choice, it felt logical, safe, and controlled. They told themselves they were doing the right thing, the mature thing, and the practical thing. But feelings do not disappear just because logic wants them to. They only go quiet and get heavier as time passes. What they did not expect was the shock and the emptiness that followed once the noise stopped. Because when someone chooses to walk away from their heart, the heart does not fight back immediately. It waits. Then it reminds them. They replay moments now, like old conversations, eye contact, and the comfort they felt around you. And what hurts most is realizing that peace does not come from choosing the safe path. It comes from choosing the truth. From a mental perspective, this creates a conflict inside. One part of them defends the choice, while another part questions it every day. This split wears them out emotionally. That is why their energy feels inconsistent. They are warm one day and distant the next. They are not at peace because they are dealing with regret. And regret does not always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like a distraction or even arrogance and silence. But underneath it all is a realization they were not ready for. Losing you cost more than they thought it would. This is why your presence still stays in their mind. Not because they are weak, but because the connection was real, and real bonds do not vanish just because you tell them to. The second part is why they hide what they are feeling. Admitting regret means admitting fear. They fear being wrong, being vulnerable, and facing results they cannot change. So instead, they push it down. They convince themselves they have moved on and stay busy. They avoid places, songs, and thoughts that remind them of you. But avoiding things is not the same as healing. It is just a delay. Deep down, they know something important was left behind. You represented emotional honesty, which is something they were not fully ready to handle. And now that you are gone, your absence shows everything they tried to avoid within themselves. Psychology tells us that emotional bonds that aren't finished do not fade. They turn into internal pressure. That is what they are feeling now. It is a pressure that appears when they least expect it. They do not reach out because they do not trust their own feelings anymore. They fear opening a door they are not sure how to walk through. And yet, they think of you during moments that matter, when life slows down, when success feels empty, and when comfort is missing. This isn't about pride, it is about emotional confusion. They are caught between who they are now and who they were when they were with you, and that conflict hurts them more than they ever say out loud. The third part covers the emotional consequences they cannot escape. Every choice has an echo, and right now, they are living inside that echo. They thought time would fix it, and that eventually the feeling would go away. But time does not erase emotional truth. It reveals it slowly and honestly. They notice patterns now, comparing other people to you and measuring conversations against the depth you shared, and nothing quite hits the same spot. This realization does not bring clarity. It brings discomfort because it forces them to face a painful truth. They walked away from something meaningful before truly understanding its value. Emotionally, this creates restlessness and a sense of being unsettled, like something is missing, but they can't name it. That is why they seem distant from their own life lately. They are learning the cost of avoiding their feelings, and it is heavier than they imagined. Your intuition feels them because emotional connections leave a mark, especially when they are unfinished and words were never spoken. You did not imagine this bond, and they are starting to realize that too. The fourth part is what this means for you now. Here is the most important piece. Their pain is not your responsibility. Understanding them does not mean you should wait. It means letting go of the confusion. Their journey is inward now. They must face what they avoided or carry it into every future relationship. Your role was never to fix them. Your role was to wake up something real, and you did. That is why they feel this way. Regret exists because you represented something authentic, and authenticity leaves a lasting mark. Whether they ever say it or not, you changed them. And sometimes, that is the only closure you need. The fifth part is the moment the truth finally hits them. There comes a time when distractions stop working. When the noise fades and excuses no longer protect the heart, that is when the truth reaches them quietly. They realize the pain they are carrying isn't just because they lost you, but because they abandoned themselves when they walked away. This awareness does not arrive in a big way. It comes in ordinary moments, like staring at a phone with no messages that matter. It happens while laughing but feeling strangely empty, or while achieving something that should feel good but doesn't. That is when your presence returns to their thoughts, not as a memory, but as a contrast. You represent what was emotionally honest and what didn't require pretending. Mentally, this is the phase where the mind stops defending the decision and the heart finally speaks. And when that happens, regret turns into understanding. They see clearly now. Love was not the risk. Avoiding it was the risk. Whether they reach out or not, this realization changes them. They become more aware and more truthful with themselves than ever before. And here is what matters for you. This chapter is not about getting back together. It is about recognition. You were not a mistake in their life. You were the lesson. And lessons do not always come back, but they change the person who learned them. If your intuition has been restless, this is why the truth has finally found them. If you have been questioning yourself, please stop. Your intuition was never wrong. You felt the truth before it was visible. Some people do not lose love. They lose the courage to choose it. And that loss teaches them things no one else can. Let go of the weight of waiting. What is meant to return will return in a healed state, not a confused one. And what does not return was only meant to show you your own depth, your worth, and your power to love deeply. Trust that your heart knew the truth before your mind ever did. The sixth part is the final realization of your own freedom. Once you understand that their struggle is their own, you begin to see that you have already won. You didn't lose them, you regained yourself. For a long time, you might have felt like you were stuck in their storm, waiting for the wind to change or for a sign that they finally understood. But the truth is that your worth was never tied to their ability to see it. While they are busy navigating the mess of their own choices, you are free to walk toward a future that isn't weighed down by their hesitation. The energy you used to spend wondering why is now yours to keep. This is the moment where the heavy feeling in your chest starts to lift, not because they apologized, but because you stopped needing them to. You are realizing that you were the one who was brave enough to be honest from the start. Psychologically, this is called reclaiming your power. You are no longer a character in their story of regret. You are the author of your own story of growth. They will carry the lesson of you into everything they do next, but you get to carry the strength of knowing you stayed true to yourself. The silence that used to feel like a question now feels like an answer. It tells you that you are ready for a love that doesn't require a war to survive. You are ready for someone who chooses you without needing to lose you first. As you step away from their confusion, you find a clarity that no one can take from you. You are moving forward, and this time you aren't looking back to see if they are following. You are simply walking into the light of your own value. The seventh part is about the peace that comes with your new beginning. Now that the truth has been spoken and the weight has been lifted, you can finally breathe again. You see that the silence between you was never a void. It was a space where you grew stronger while they stayed stuck. You are no longer waiting for a phone call or a sign, because you have realized that your own peace is the best sign you could ever receive. The lessons you learned from this connection have sharpened your vision, helping you see who is ready for your heart and who is still running from their own. You have moved past the need for explanations because the way they left told you everything you needed to know. This is the phase of total emotional release. You are letting go of the version of them you hoped they would become and accepting the person they actually chose to be. By doing this, you clear the path for someone who matches your courage and your honesty. You understand now that some people enter your life just to show you how much you can give, and their departure shows you how much you deserve to keep for yourself. The bond may have fractured, but you have stayed whole. As you move into this next chapter, you carry a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken. You are whole, you are worthy, and you are finally free to be loved in the way you have always loved others. The eighth part is the realization of your own light. When you finally stop looking for answers in their silence, you start to see the beauty in your own journey. You are no longer defined by the way they treated you or the choices they made. Instead, you are defined by your ability to keep your heart open even after it was hurt. You have learned that your love is a gift, and it is not your fault if someone was too afraid to accept it. The time you spent waiting wasn't wasted. It was the time it took for you to realize that you deserve someone who is certain about you. You are now entering a season of your life where your happiness is no longer a reaction to someone else's confusion. This is where your energy changes completely. People notice a new strength in you because you are no longer searching for validation. You have found it within yourself. The person who lost you will eventually see this change from a distance, and it will be their final lesson. They will realize that you didn't just move on. You leveled up. You became the person they were always afraid to be, someone who is fully present, fully honest, and fully alive. You are walking into a future where the love you give is finally mirrored back to you. The chapter is closing, and as you turn the page, you realize the best parts of your story haven't even been written yet. The ninth part is the final step of standing in your own truth. This is the moment when you realize that everything you went through was preparing you for a version of yourself that is unbreakable. You no longer feel the need to explain your side of the story or hope that they finally understand your worth. You have reached a point where their understanding is no longer required for your happiness. The energy that used to be tied up in their regret has been returned to you, and you are using it to build a life that feels authentic and full. You are finally at rest with the fact that some stories do not have a tidy ending, and that is perfectly okay. This is the ultimate freedom. You have transformed the pain of a broken connection into the power of self-reliance. You understand now that you were never the one who was lost. They were. You were simply the person who was brave enough to stay until it was time to grow. As you look forward, you see a path that is clear and bright, filled with people who are ready to meet you at your level. You have traded your restlessness for a deep, quiet certainty. The journey has been long and the lessons were hard, but you have come out the other side with a heart that is even more capable of love than before. You are ready for what is next, and this time you are walking into it with your eyes wide open and your spirit completely free. The 10th part is the quiet return to yourself. This is the stage where the memory of them no longer carries a sting. You can think of the past without feeling like you are losing your grip on the present. You have stopped looking for their face in crowds or their name on your screen, not because you are angry, but because you are finally full. You have filled the empty spaces they left with your own hobbies, your own dreams, and your own peace. The silence that once felt like a heavy weight has transformed into a comfortable space where you can finally hear your own voice again. You are no longer a person who is waiting. You are a person who has arrived. This is the beauty of moving forward. You realize that the connection served its purpose by showing you what you are willing to give and what you will no longer accept. You are now protected by your own standards. The love you once poured into a broken situation is now being poured back into your own life, and you are blooming because of it. You look back at the person you were when this started and you feel a deep sense of pride. You stayed kind when things were hard, and you stayed honest when it would have been easier to be cold. You have reached the end of this cycle, not just as a survivor, but as a person who is truly ready for a brand new beginning. The 11th part is the realization that your healing has become your greatest strength. You no longer look back at the relationship as a loss, but as a turning point that led you back to your own soul. The person you once were, the one who settled for breadcrumbs of affection and lived in a state of constant wondering, no longer exists. In their place stands someone who is grounded, clear-headed, and deeply aware of their own value. You have learned that silence is not something to be feared. It is a tool for reflection and a boundary that protects your energy. You have mastered the art of letting go, not with bitterness, but with a grateful heart for the lessons learned. This is the final transformation. You are now a magnet for things that are healthy, honest, and whole. Because you chose to face the pain instead of running from it, you have gained a level of emotional maturity that most people spend a lifetime trying to find. You are no longer waiting for the world to give you permission to be happy. You have realized that your joy is a choice you make every single morning. The story with them has officially ended, and as you close the book on that chapter, you feel a sense of lightness you haven't felt in years. You are standing on the edge of a beautiful new life, and for the first time, you are moving toward it with a heart that is completely your own. The 12th part is the final embrace of your new reality. You have reached a place where you no longer need to check if you are healed, because you simply are. The thoughts of what could have been replaced by the excitement of what is actually happening. You have stopped trying to find a reason for everything and have started finding joy in the simple fact that you survived and grew. This is the moment when you realize that your heart was never actually broken. It was just breaking open to let in a deeper version of yourself. You are no longer defined by the person who couldn't love you, but by the person you have become through the process of loving yourself. This is the end of the old story and the first page of the new one. You walk with a different kind of grace now, the kind that only comes from knowing you faced the dark and found your own light. You are ready for connections that are built on truth instead of safety, and on presence instead of absence. You have surrendered the need to control the outcome and have learned to trust the timing of your life. The weight is gone, the air is clear, and the path ahead is wide open. You are finally home within yourself, and that is the most powerful place you could ever be. You are free, you are whole, and you are ready for everything that is meant for you. The 13th part is the final stillness. This is the moment when you realize that the silence you once feared has become your sanctuary. You no longer look for meaning in the absence of others because you have found so much meaning in your own presence. The person who once caused you so much confusion is now just a distant memory, a character from a book you finished reading a long time ago. You don't feel the need to prove anything to them or show them how well you are doing. Your growth isn't a performance for their benefit. It is a gift you have given to yourself. You have finally reached the point where their opinion of you no longer carries any weight. This is the ultimate peace. You are standing in the middle of your own life, fully awake and fully alive. You have learned that the best closure doesn't come from a conversation or an apology, but from the quiet realization that you are okay on your own. You have turned your struggles into wisdom and your heartache into a map that leads you toward better things. As you stand here today, you are not just a better version of who you were. You are a brand new person altogether. The cycle is complete. You have reclaimed your heart, your mind, and your future. You are ready to step into the unknown with a smile, knowing that whatever comes next, you have the strength to handle it. The 14th part is the final step into your true power. You have moved past the stages of healing and have entered a state of pure being. This is the moment when you look in the mirror and recognize the person looking back as your own best friend and most trusted ally. You have stopped asking why things happened the way they did because the answer is standing right there in your own strength. You understand now that every moment of silence and every feeling of being unsettled was just the universe clearing away what wasn't meant for you to make room for what is. You are no longer looking for someone to complete you because you have realized that you were never incomplete to begin with. This is the peak of your journey. Your energy is now so clear and so strong that it naturally attracts the right people and the right opportunities without you having to struggle or fight for them. You have let go of the need to be understood by those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Instead, you are focusing your time and your heart on the things that make you feel truly alive. The weight of the past has completely evaporated, leaving you light and ready to run toward your dreams. You are the master of your own emotions and the leader of your own life. This is not just a new chapter. It is a whole new book. You are stepping out into the world with a spirit that is unshakable, a heart that is wide open, and a soul that is finally completely at rest. The 15th part is the final realization of your own worth. You have reached a point where you no longer look for signs or seek hidden meanings in the actions of others. Your confidence is no longer a shield you put up to hide your hurt. It is a natural part of who you are. You have learned that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself, and you have made that bond unbreakable. The person who walked away is no longer a source of pain or a lesson you need to keep studying. They are simply a part of your history, a shadow that disappeared when you stepped into the sun. You have stopped waiting for the world to be kind to you and have started being kind to yourself, which has changed everything. This is where your life truly begins. You are no longer held back by the fear of being alone or the worry of being misunderstood. You have found a deep sense of belonging within your own skin. The love you used to search for in others is now a constant flow inside of you, and it radiates outward, touching everyone you meet. You have become a person of depth, substance, and true peace. You have survived the storm and realized that you were the ocean all along. Nothing can disturb your calm because you know that you are capable of handling whatever life brings. You are moving forward with a steady heart and a clear mind, ready to embrace the infinite possibilities of your future. You are finally, perfectly, and beautifully enough. The 16th part is the final arrival at total clarity. You have stopped looking back at the wreckage of what used to be and have started focusing entirely on the beauty of what is. This is the moment when you realize that your life didn't fall apart. It fell into place. All the confusion and the heavy silence were just the old walls coming down so that something better could be built. You no longer feel the need to keep track of the person who left or wonder if they finally understand their mistake. Their understanding is a small thing compared to the massive growth you have experienced. You have reached a level of maturity where you can wish them well from a distance without needing them to be a part of your world ever again. This is the highest form of living. You are now moving through the world with a heart that is light and a spirit that is free. You have traded your anxiety for a deep sense of trust in yourself and in the universe. You know that you are a person of value, and you no longer allow anyone to make you feel otherwise. The lessons are fully integrated, the pain is fully healed, and your energy is fully returned to you. You are standing at the start of a long, bright road, and you are walking it with a steady pace. You are not running away from anything, and you are not chasing anyone. You are simply moving toward your own destiny with a smile on your face. You have found your peace, you have found your power, and you have finally found yourself. The 17th part is the final release of all remaining expectations. You have stopped waiting for life to look a certain way and have started loving life exactly as it is right now. This is the moment when you realize that the closure you were looking for wasn't a word from someone else, but a feeling of quiet within yourself. You no longer feel the need to defend your past or explain your future. You are simply present. The person who couldn't stay has become a tiny detail in a very large and beautiful picture. You have forgiven them, not because they deserved it, but because you deserved to move forward without carrying their ghost on your shoulders. This is the state of total emotional freedom. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are creating your own experience. Your happiness is grounded in the simple things: the air you breathe, the goals you are reaching, and the peace you feel when you wake up in the morning. You have become the hero of your own story, and you no longer need a supporting character to make the plot meaningful. You are solid, you are certain, and you are radiating a kind of light that only comes from someone who has walked through the fire and come out whole. You are standing on solid ground, and every step you take from here is a step toward more joy, more love, and more truth. The journey to find yourself is over, and the journey to be yourself has finally begun.